Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into James Clear's Atomic Habits. It's a book built around this really simple but honestly powerful idea, getting just 1% better every single day. We're going to break down its biggest ideas and give you that exact framework in just the next few minutes.
So, the whole thing starts not with some dry theory, but with a real-life catastrophe. You see, the author, James Clear, was hit in the face with a baseball bat. It nearly killed him. And his recovery, it was just agonizingly slow. We're talking tiny, almost invisible steps forward. But it was that painful journey that actually taught him the fundamental secret to getting better at anything. And that became the foundation for, well, his life's work.
So here's what he discovered. Real, lasting change, the kind that actually sticks, it doesn't come from some massive overnight transformation. No, it comes from the compound effect of hundreds of small, consistent actions. You know, these tiny little changes that, over time, create remarkable results.
And this isn't just theory, right? It has some staggering real-world implications. I mean, take the British cycling team. For almost 100 years, they were completely unremarkable. But then they get this new performance director who brings in a strategy he calls the aggregation of marginal gains. And get this, they improved everything by just 1%. The comfort of the bike seats, the grip on the tires, even the type of massage gel their athletes used. Everything. And the results? Absolutely historic.
Just 1% better. I mean, think about it. On any given day, that's pretty much unnoticeable, right? It feels totally insignificant, like going for a 10-minute walk instead of your usual 9 minutes. That doesn't exactly feel like a life-changing event, does it?
But here's where the magic happens. It's all about compounding. If you get just 1% better each day for a whole year, you're not going to be 365% better. No, you'll be nearly 37 times better. That's insane. And it's because these small habits, they don't just add up, they multiply. They compound on each other.
Okay, so if these tiny gains are so powerful, why is it so hard? Why do so many of us, we start something new and then just give up? Why do we struggle to make these things stick?
Well, the reason is something Clear calls the valley of disappointment. We all do this, right? We expect our progress to look like a straight line going up. We work hard, so we want to see results, like now. But the reality is, well, the most powerful outcomes of any compounding process are delayed. So for a long, long time, it feels like you're just spinning your wheels, going nowhere. And that gap, that huge gap between what we expect to happen and what's actually happening, that's the valley. That's where most of us just quit.
And I just love this way of thinking about it. All that hard work you're putting in at the beginning, it's not wasted. Not at all. It's being stored. It's like you're loading a spring, just building up all this potential, just waiting to cross that critical threshold.
Okay, think about it like this, like an ice cube. Heating it up from, say, 29 to 31 degrees, it feels totally fruitless. Nothing seems to be happening on the outside. But then you add just one more degree of effort, and you hit the breakthrough. The real, meaningful change happens at 32 degrees. And this is the key, it's only possible because of all that seemingly pointless work that came before it.
So the big question is, how do we actually push through that plateau? Well, the book argues we need a pretty fundamental shift in how we think. We need to stop focusing so much on goals and start focusing on our systems.
Okay, so what's the difference really? It's simple. A goal is the results you want. Think, win a championship or lose 20 pounds. A system, on the other hand, is the process that gets you there. It's how you practice every day or the way you plan your meals. It's the how, not the what.
And this leads to a really powerful realization. Winners and losers, they often have the exact same goals. Every single Olympian wants that gold medal. So what separates them? It's not the goal, it's their system. It's that commitment to a process of continuous, tiny improvements that, in the end, makes all the difference.
All right, let's get into the good stuff. To actually build those winning systems, the book gives us this incredibly practical, step-by-step framework. And it's all based on the science of how our habits actually work. It's called the 4 laws of behavior change.
So here's the thing. Every single one of our habits, the good ones and the bad ones, they all follow this simple 4-step feedback loop. First, there's a cue that triggers your brain.
That cue leads to a craving. You want to change how you feel. That craving then motivates a response, which is the habit itself. And finally, that response delivers a reward, which satisfies the craving and basically tells your brain, hey, do that again. The 4 laws are all about hacking this loop.
Law number 1 is all about the cue. Make it obvious. So, to build a good habit, you have to make the trigger for it super obvious. The easiest way to do this is a tactic called habit stacking. You just anchor your new habit to one you already have. So instead of a vague goal, you say, after I pour my morning cup of coffee, I will meditate for 1 minute. Boom. The coffee is your obvious cue.
Okay, law number 2 tackles the craving. Make it attractive. Look, we're way more likely to do something if we actually want to do it. And you can engineer this with something called temptation bundling. The trick is to pair an action you need to do with an action you want to do. For example, I will only listen to my favorite podcast while I'm on the treadmill. Pretty soon you actually start to crave the exercise because it means you get to do something you love.
Law number 3 is about the response. Make it easy. Let's be honest. We're all a bit lazy. Human behavior follows the path of least resistance. So to build a new habit, you have to make it ridiculously easy to start. This is where the 2-minute rule comes in. Any new habit should be scaled down so it takes less than 2 minutes. Read every night becomes read 1 page. Go for a run becomes put on my running shoes. You just have to master the art of starting. The rest will follow.
And finally, law number 4 is all about the reward. Make it satisfying. For a habit to really stick, it has to feel good. Our brains are wired for now, not later. We love immediate gratification. So as soon as you complete your habit, give yourself a little win, an immediate reward. It can be as simple as putting a big X on your calendar and feeling that rush of satisfaction from not breaking the chain. That little reward tells your brain, yep, that was good. Let's do it again.
But you know, these 4 laws, they're really just the beginning. The most powerful, most profound idea in this entire book goes 1 level deeper. It's not really about changing what you do. It's about changing who you are.
You can think about behavior change as having 3 layers, kind of like an onion. On the outside, you have your outcomes. That's like losing weight. The next layer in is your process. That's your systems and your habits. But at the very core, the deepest layer is your identity. That's what you believe about yourself. And real, true, lasting change, it always happens from the inside out.
And this, right here, is maybe the most powerful idea in the whole book. Every tiny action you take, it's more than just an action. It's a small piece of evidence. It's a vote that you are casting for the type of person you want to become. Every time you make your bed, you're casting a vote for being an organized person. Every time you hit the gym, even for a few minutes, you're casting a vote for being a healthy person. This just reframes the whole thing, doesn't it? The focus isn't on some one-time achievement anymore. It's on embodying an identity. You're not just performing an action. You are literally practicing being the person you want to become. And your habits, they're just the proof. They're the evidence of who you are.
So ultimately, this is the question the book leaves us with. It completely reframes our whole approach to self-improvement. It's not about chasing results. It's about consciously, deliberately building the person you want to be, one tiny atomic habit at a time. So the real question is, what identity are you building today? What votes are you casting?